Okay, hello everybody. We're back. Social News Network TV with Tim and Barry, episode 8. How are you today, Barry?
Hello, everyone.
Where have you been?
People have been asking familiar. You look familiar. What's your name again?
Yeah, exactly, Tim. I mean, people have been asking about you, so I have to start with you. Where have you been?
Schedule conflicts.
Yeah. A lot of work.
It happens, yeah.
So I thought you, as a Trump supporter, would be in jail by now. So
yeah,
they caught up to Pete Navarro, but not you yet, huh?
No, I haven't gone anywhere, so they can't track me down. They can't handcuff me, and they put him in leg chains. They chained his legs.
Yeah, that was one of the first thing I was going to ask you about for our viewers. We can start with that, and then we'll go into our subscribers and other things later on. And I'm going to tell you a crazy Swedish thing that happened here. But why don't you tell everybody who Peter Navarro is and what he did for Trump? And
well, he was just one of Trump's advisors, internal high up advisors, and he had nothing to do with January 6th. He just they want to get his access to his emails, his phone records, and what did you say to Trump? They want to basically go after anybody and everybody in Trump's circle, and he was one of Trump's top advisors. So now, unfortunately, he went to the FBI and he's like, look, I live 5 minutes from the FBI office. He goes, I can just walk in there and go in there if you wanted. They didn't have to go after him with handcuffs and SWAT teams and pull him off an airplane. He was heading to Nashville, I think it was Nashville, to do, Mike Huckabee.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, he has a show now. He has his own podcast, his own show, I think on Sirius SM or something like that.
Yeah, it's on YouTube as well. I actually follow him there.
Yeah, YouTube. And he was going to do a show with Mike Huckabee, and that was already planned. And he said to the FBI, and he goes, look, just contact me anytime you want. I'll come in. You want to talk to me, this and that. And he goes, and here's my lawyer's number. Here's my phone number. There's my schedule. This is what I'm doing. So they went so overboard, just like they did with Roger Stone. Getting the SWAT team in tactical gear and going after him and handcuffing him in public. They pulled him off an airplane. And then they put shackles on his legs. They threw him in jail. I think he's 72 years old, and they strip searched him.
I can't believe how they can live with themselves, just like they did to Roger Stone.
Right.
If anybody don't know who Roger Stone is, he was a pretty cool gentleman, over 70 years old. He was a little extravagant and a little half crazy, but he was a Trump supporter, and he didn't do anything really that they couldn't just call him, like you said about Pete. They could have called him and asked him to get in contact with his attorney and meet the DOJ or whatever. But they came with a SWAT team, and CNN was there 5 a.m. How did they know about that?
Yeah, exactly.
And they stormed his house. His wife was deaf. He had no gun in his house.
No,
and they just shackled him, and like you said, it's terrible.
And he lives on the water on the canal.
Yeah.
And they had SWAT boats come up on the canal, and to his pool to make sure that he didn't try to escape. And he goes, I don't know why they had to do that. He goes, I can't even swim.
But that's the thing, that if I translate this to Swedish, it would be like, and then I don't mean the language. Then I mean, it's like if our government would actually go and take our right-wing leader, Jimmy, and basically shackle him or his followers and take him in handcuffs and throw him in jail and say, well, you don't like our prime minister, and you said this and this about Olof Palme, who was killed in '86, so therefore we're going to put you in jail.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
And they did the same thing with Paul Manafort.
Yeah, is he out, by the way?
Yeah. He's out. I think he's out, and the Trump pardoned him.
Okay, because I never heard much about Paul Manafort after. I know he was caught. He was in jail, prison, but
and the FBI.
I heard he pardoned a lot of people, but I never heard that he pardoned Paul Manafort.
Yeah, he pardoned Roger Stone, and he pardoned Manifold and a bunch of other ones.
There was another guy that that Trump pardoned, that Obama promised to pardon, with a really funny name.
I don't know.
Hilly Willy Billy, whatever it was.
And
But
then
anyway,
they took Paul Manifold's, raided his house at like 4 o'clock in the morning and pulled his wife out of bed in her nightgown and handcuffed her on the floor.
but I mean, he did some financial crooked things.
Yeah, but it had nothing to do with
Trump and what he took him for.
No.
Yeah.
So it had nothing to do with his campaign or any of that stuff. So it was just a lot of BS.
But how long will they hold Pete Navarro for now then?
Well, he's out.
He is out.
He's
on
out.
bail or what?
Yeah, I think on bail or something, or promised to appear. But they didn't have to do it the way they did it. They're just assholes. It's just complete assholes. And then this guy, Clinton's attorney, gets off.
So Huckabee's daughter, she was the press person for Trump before Kayleigh McEnany, right?
That was Huckabee's daughter.
Yeah, and she is now going to be the governor of what? Arkansas?
Arkansas, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she's running. She's got to win. But she won the GOP primary.
Yeah. I mean, did you see the last Trump rally?
No.
He's getting better and better. I mean, the people, when he comes into that, I'm proud to be an American. And then in the end, when he dances out to, I'm coming back.
This thing.
Yeah. And now he's doing it with his legs too. Like he's really dancing more and more. And he has so much fun and it looks great. And that's what real supporters to a politician should be like, what they show on Right Side. Right Side Broadcasting Network, they show everything in a beautiful, nice way. And the Democrats, it's just sad how stupid they are.
I think I might have said this before, but in less than 2 years, they have absolutely ruined the United States economy.
Yeah.
It's just insane. And it's just like, and then Biden came out on a interview and he says, well, what do you want me to do? I can't just flip a switch and have the gas prices go down immediately. Yes, well, Jesus, yes, you can. You did that. You did that the first day you went into office. You had an executive order canceling all of Trump's energy policies, like that.
It's so
and everything started going up.
Yeah,
the first day in office.
I mean, it's easy. I said this on my episode, which is actually uploading as we speak today, that the gas here in Sweden is now 25 crowns a liter, which is 100 crowns for 4 liters, which is 10 to 11 bucks per gallon.
Oh my God.
And the diesel is 13 bucks here.
So what are your prices at the grocery stores?
Well, they're going up, but it's not in percentage wise, it's not as bad as in America yet. Yeah. But I mean, we have other things like my electricity bill here has gone up 30%, but it's small stuff. I mean, I don't pay much electricity, but in percent, it's kind of high, but in actual money. But if you have a house in Sweden, like Anders Rosenqvist, or any other person with a house, it can go up from several hundred bucks to a couple of $1,000 a month. Jesus. So
what is Anders doing? Is Anders following us?
Yes, I think he is. I don't know if he has watched this yet, but I'll make sure to email him this episode. So
do you talk to him a lot still?
Yeah, I talk to him every week. He checks out my TV Team Sweden sometimes, and I'm gonna send this episode to him. So
is he still with Annette?
Ask him here. Hello, Anders.
Hello, Anders Rosenqvist. Are you and Annette still together?
No, they broke up. Didn't you know they broke up like 10, 15 years ago? That was a really big fight. No, he's married to Cecilia, and she works at the bar at the casino in Malmö, actually. She's a bar restaurant manager since many years back. So no, he has a great life with her, and he lives in Sjöbo, which is Trump area here in Swedish version, so to say. But anyway, so I wanted to ask you also, how are the gas prices and the food prices affecting your state, North Carolina?
Big time, because the average price per gallon is going up 10 cents a week. So that's, I paid $4.39, it's now $4.49, and now it's $4.59. So it's averaging 10 cents per week in American dollars. And that's a lot of money. You're talking like close to 40 to 50 cents a gallon in a month. So now they're recalibrating, some states are recalibrating the pumps, the gas pumps, to reflect double digit on the screen, like up over $10 a gallon, 10, 11, $12 a gallon.
Okay.
How messed up is that?
I got a really interesting mail here. Let's see if I can find it real quick, or I can maybe I'll just remember it. I got an email from, I'm on a mailing list, for Ron DeSantis.
Oh, yeah.
But this was the Twitter feed, I think. And Ron DeSantis put out this nice picture of Florida where it says Freedom State. And there was this big circle with a red line across it, like they have on alcohol in Venezuela, tax-free.
Yeah.
And it's like state tax zero. And then he said, we have a $20 billion surplus in Florida. It's the number one domestic vacation spot. We have the best beaches in the world. And this is Freedom State. And you're all welcome as long as you're not a Democrat.
As long as you leave your policies at home.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't bring that liberal crap down here.
Yeah, he's good, that guy. So I remember when I went back to Sweden 2018 in April, and I think I pulled up to a gas station, the one on close to 95 on Atlantic Avenue in Delray Beach. And I think it was 179 or 189. And this is ridiculous than what you're talking about.
Yeah. It moved to North Carolina. It was like 229 or 219.
Yeah.
Why is it saying my internet is unstable?
Yeah, I saw you froze a little bit there, but it's all right. So we have this Kurdish woman in our I don't know how to say it in English, but our Riksdag, which is Reichstag, basically, our governmental house in Sweden, where the right-wing parties and the center parties, the liberal parties and the social democrats and the communists, they're all babbling about things. And this time they had this big discussion about the minister that the right wanted to fire from the social democrats, because they blame him for the Islamism that is going on in Sweden, all the gang violence, all the shootings, all the rapings that these Afghan boys are doing against Swedish girls, and so on. And they wanted to have a vote in the Swedish Reichstag, basically, about, are you going to stay or go? And the vote was 174 to 174. You need one to win or lose. And you know who is deciding this vote in Sweden? A Kurdish woman who is for Kurdistan, against Turkey and Erdogan. You can be against Turkey and Erdogan for many reasons, but Sweden is negotiating with Turkey because that's the only country who is holding our application to go.
I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Well, what is Turkey's problem with Sweden?
Hold on. Okay. So this Kurdish woman from Kurdistan, Iran's the Kurdish part of Iran, comes to Sweden in 1996. He becomes a part of the left-wing Communist Party, and then she drops out of the party and she becomes an independent, which we in Sweden call the wild one, basically. So she's the wild one. She's the only one independent, and she, an immigrant from a terrorist part of the world, not part of the world, that's wrong, but she is positive towards the Kurdish terrorist organizations that our government are classifying as terrorist organizations, and Turkey and Erdogan are classifying them as terrorist organizations. So she votes, she says that she wants to vote yes to fire this guy. And then she made a deal with our PM and she puts down her vote. And now Erdogan is sitting there in Turkey and saying, okay, you, the whole government of Sweden, a whole country is obeying a terrorist from Kurdistan's, the part in Iran. Yeah. And he's going to flip out, and we're never going to be part of NATO as long as we handle our business like this.
Okay, so that explains it then. He's very familiar with how everybody in your government and how your government works.
Yeah, I mean, they
And
have
he's not happy with it. So therefore he's
our
like, no, I don't
PM,
want you part of NATO.
our Prime Minister Magan is a woman
Right.
first, and then all of her team that she brought down there are women. What do you think a Muslim man thinks about 3 women in dresses with no head thing, or maybe they put that on to please him? And they talk about, oh, please, Erdogan, everybody wants Sweden to join NATO, but you. Yeah, because that's because you're supporting PKK and other terrorist organizations in Sweden. Why do you give those organizations money?
Yeah. Okay.
And so this is a really bad situation. And people who know Swedish politics around the world are laughing about us. Because how can we let any Kurdish woman even be a part of the Swedish
Of your
Reichstag?
parliament. Yeah.
Parliament, exactly. I say Reichstag because it's the German. It sounds more powerful.
No.
But
Yeah, because your parliament is too diverse with people that shouldn't even be in there.
exactly. And people are complaining about America, that you have a 2-party system, but we have 8 parties and nobody agrees with anybody.
That's crazy. That's like England.
Yeah, I know.
That's no, that is.
What do you think?
Yeah, I was wondering why, because he's not holding up Finland, right?
No, because Finland is not supporting any terrorist PKK Kurdistan organizations.
Okay. All right. So Finland, he's fine with Finland, just not with you guys.
That's how it looks now. And we are such a pussy country following everything. And they even call Biden president. Oh, President Biden. What do you mean, President Biden? Does it, I mean, does nobody on the left-wing side in Sweden or Germany or Holland or Berlin, can't you see how America was policy-wise and compare that with Trump and Biden and see the results? What are they afraid of?
I don't know. It's mind-boggling to sit there. Oh, well, when everyone says that, just say, hey, listen, haven't you watched 2000 Mules? You don't call him President Biden.
I know, it's ridiculous. What
But
about
I think our midterms are going to just swipe. We're going to clean slate with Republicans.
it has to be. And have you seen now all these thousands and thousands of people are walking through Mexico now to your border?
Yeah. Yeah. It's up to 18,000, I think it is now. And you know what's pissing me off is there's organizers that put all this together. And you know what they're doing? You know who's funding this? United Nations. There was a report that came out in the last couple of days that the United Nations is giving these organizations gas or cash cards. And they're supplying them and they're funding these movements.
And I bet you Soros is behind it too.
Oh, he is. And then they're doing, and it's in the Catholic Church. Yeah. The Catholic Church is behind it. The United Nations is financing it. And who's the #1 contributor to the United Nations? America.
You are, exactly.
So I mean, our tax dollars, my tax dollars go to our government. Our government is the largest financer of contributing to the United Nations, and the United Nations is turning around giving our money back to all of these immigrants that are coming up to south the border. Yeah. Now, how messed up is that?
It's so sick, it's ridiculous. I can't even explain it. I mean, more people are religious or Christian and go to regular churches in America than in Sweden. But even in Sweden, more and more of my viewers are starting to comment on my channel that, you know, this is satanic. Yeah. Whether this demon, this son of God, so turn against him, whether this biblical fight is real or not, it sure looks like it, because I can't understand, like Nancy Pelosi, AOC,
they gotta go.
Tlaib, how can they destroy their whole country? And this is the funny thing. It's actually not funny. It's terrible. Have you been to California?
No. Oh, a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I got a mail, you know, from one of my subscribers, and he said that Tim, my son is living in LA, and he says that there is shit, you know, feces and piss and shit and drugs and needles all over the streets, and there are homeless people living on the sidewalks, and oh my God, look what Trump did to us in California.
Oh yeah, okay.
How can people think that?
Because they're brainwashed. They're actually brainwashed. And this is all you have to do. It's not a federal policy, it's your state policies. So don't blame the government.
It's Gavin Newsom and the guy before him,
exactly,
and Nancy
exactly.
Pelosi. They destroyed the whole state. The gas is $8.25 there.
Yeah, that's gonna, I guarantee you by summer it'll be $10, $10 a gallon. And so
I mean,
just getting back to, I wish all these immigrants coming up from the southern border, it used to be just all Mexicans and Guatemalans and El Salvadorians and all that stuff, but now it's turned into this global movement.
yeah, it's people from the Middle East.
It's people from the Middle East. It's people from Afghanistan again, Ukraine, which fine with Ukrainians, I mean, because there's a war going on, but I mean, that's one thing. But now you got people from
But they
China.
shouldn't come in that way. They should come to the port of in New York. They should come to Newark and JFK and show their papers that they are a refugee. And they, this is, I mean, how I'm really happy.
Movement through our southern border has become, like I said, a global issue, a global event, financing by our United Nations. Now, how must I couldn't believe I heard that the other day, that they have proof now that the United Nations is actually financing it through various organizations, charitable organizations. And these guys are organizing it down in South America and then down in Mexico. And I'm like, well, why the hell aren't these guys arrested? They're actually creating, and they're bringing so much fentanyl and drugs and trafficking over the border.
But that's the same with WHO. They are a part of the UN. And we just got reports here from Germany and England and Australia and from our Swedish FHM, which is our CDC, that it's proven now that Pfizer, all the lab reports they did about the mRNA vaccines, they were fake. They knew that people will get sick from them. And they knew that nobody needed those vaccines. And they knew that the vaccine passports weren't good for shit and that everybody would be infected by this virus anyway. They say that you get less sick, but they have no proof of that. You have the exact same numbers. You have the exact same percent of people who survived C-19 and died from it in America and Sweden, all over, pre-vaccine and post-vaccine. So now they want to ask you to take the 4th shot and the 5th and the 6th against the virus that is weak as a fucking coal.
It's all the pharmaceutical companies. They've made billions of dollars from the government. And I told you this episodes ago, who's paying, they're not manufacturing these drugs for free. And now they just applied to the FDA for children under the age of 5 to take the vaccine shot.
I mean, it's terrible. And this documentary and also a Swedish interview between doctors that I saw the other day, they say that the WHO and the CDC, they know about this. They have known about it a long time, but they can't back off now. Because if they said, we found out a year ago that everybody who has taken these mRNA shots, you have destroyed your immune system for life, some of you, and most of you will get reactions in 2-3 years. And actually, this virus is not that bad. It was only fat and really sick people dying from it anyway, mostly. So we basically gave you the wrong information. We're sorry.
They would never say that.
They would never say that. So I'm happy that I never took the fucking thing. And I hope that America will let me in soon, because every country in Europe, basically, I'm going to England now in July. You know, Tito, my friend in New York, he's coming here in July, and he and the Gersh and everybody from America and Jura now and everybody, you don't need to show any vaccine status when you come to Sweden or Europe. So why isn't Biden letting that loose now? Why is it still saying that you need to show proof of being fully vaccinated? What do you mean fully vaccinated? It doesn't help anyway. Everybody,
it's all about power.
Trump has promised in his 2 latest rallies that as soon as we are in charge of the House and the Senate, all mandates will be shut, and I'm going to write the laws in a way that they can never be reversed, he said.
They should take all of them. They should arrest Dr. Fauci.
He should be arrested and fucking tortured. But I mean, you know, the Democrats are starting to realize this now, that even if Trump is not the actual president, if you have control, if the GOP have control over the House and the Senate, he's de facto the president.
Yep.
Because he's just going to tell them, say no and no and no to this, and don't accept this and this and this. And he will not be a lame duck, Biden. He will be a lame idiot and moron.
He won't be able to do anything. He won't be able to do anything. And they're going to basically sit there and say, you do this and you do that according to what we want. Otherwise, we're going to impeach you. And invoke
They are going to impeach him anyway.
We should.
Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi. And I've never said this before, but I really hope if there are any criminal people who deserves to be in jail for a long time, it's Nancy Pelosi, Jerry Nadler, Shifty Schiff, Chuck Schumer, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, and the black woman, the Muslim in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
They are really
Omar.
criminals. Yeah, Omar. They are so bad for the world that they're worse than any Muslim leader in the Middle East.
No, it's really bad because I don't know what has happened to them, because they weren't like that years ago.
And it's really crazy that so many Americans, when they interview people on the street in LA and New York, that right side do sometimes, I mean, okay, he has the lowest numbers, Biden, like 38% approval rating for certain things. But how can there be 30% approving of anything Biden has done?
Yeah,
who are those 30%?
That's like, even when they say he's 80% of America disapproves of how American economy is going. Well, who are those 20% that say it's great?
Well, it's got to be billionaires who just want
What person is in that 20% that would say, hey, no, our economy's great?
Well, I guess in your states you have like the Jack and Nicholson, the cuckoo's nest. They go in and ask those people, I guess.
Yeah, maybe they do some phony polls, telemarketers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So what are we doing here now, Barry? Are we gonna tell our viewers something? First of all, I want to ask you, well, what day did we decide on? Because I think we need to have one set day a week that we will try to hold, and then a couple of extras as soon as we can.
Tuesdays.
11 a.m. your time.
11 a.m. my time in Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday.
So
morning.
that means like Tuesday night Swedish time, 6, 7, 8 p.m. We will upload a new episode every week, as long as we don't get sick or something other bad happens. But that's like our goal anyway. Okay. And then we'll do a couple of weekend episodes when we both have time.
Yep.
And I want to ask everybody, since most of our viewers to date are from my channel, from TV Team Sweden, and I'm also going to share this episode with my live tomorrow and other channels, please just help us to get over the 1,000, because once we get over 1,000 subscribers, it will be easier for us to reach out to American viewers.
Yes. Yep. I'm already working on it as we speak.
Good.
With some of our followers, whether I'm making comments on some of their posts on behalf of Social News Network TV. So just trying to create a dialogue with some of these other channels here in America. And then we can start forming, sending them links to our show.
Yeah, and then people ask me what our themes will be, and from my view, it's what you said, Barry, the other episode before, that maybe there are others, but we're unique in this way that we are a podcast or a YouTube channel where you are in the States and I'm in Sweden, and sometimes we will both be in Sweden and sometimes we will both be in the States, but you will support me with actually what's happening on the street in America, politics and otherwise.
Yep.
And I will support our channel with what happens in Sweden and Europe. And that's what's unique. And we will try to write down and take notes of more and more things so that each episode gets more and more interesting.
Yeah, more interesting and more informative on an international basis. Like we said, we're the only, as we know, international podcast channel with a host in America and a host in Europe.
Exactly.
I think that's a great concept.
Absolutely. There might be others, but none that we know of that are doing in this sense. So what do you What do you think will happen now in America over this summer and this coming fall? Will it be
A
violence
red
on the
wave.
streets and things like that going on before the elections, or how does it
Yes.
look?
No, it will be a red wave, and they're oh, I forgot to tell you, you probably haven't heard about this, because of this whole abortion thing going on here in America, the
Yeah.
Roe versus Wade. They arrested a gunman outside of Brett Kavanaugh's house last night. He wanted to assassinate Supreme Court Judge Brett Kavanaugh.
I can
Can you
believe.
imagine that's what the summer's coming to.
Yeah.
It's going to be. It's
Well, they
going
got to
be-
have bodyguards and all
They
that.
do. They have they have police guarding them, but now they're trying to pass a bill that says all 9 Supreme Court justices need round the clock security, and Nancy Pelosi wouldn't bring it up.
You know, this is the sick thing, that people in Sweden and everybody else where abortions are very common. But I mean, I have talked to Swedish women a lot about this, and I have yet to find a Swedish woman who say that they are okay with an abortion in the 7th, 8th, or 9th month,
Exactly.
or even after birth.
After birth.
When you go to colleges in America and you ask the left-wing girls that are around 16 to 20 years old, their answer is basically, it's the woman's decision. But what about Miss Christina, if it's in the 9th month? Do you know that the child can live from 5, 6 months? Well, it's the woman's choice. So you're saying that it's the woman's choice to kill a full-grown baby? Yes, it's the woman's choice. They only repeat the same phrase without even thinking that they're killing somebody whose whole life is in front of him or her, and that, you know, you should have thought of that the day you had sex. And if you got raped, you could have been thinking about it in the 3rd or 4th month, you know.
Right.
It's so sick.
So anyway, yeah, that was the latest thing in the news about, that's all over the news today, is that, you know, the guy was arrested for threatening to kill Brett Kavanaugh.
There is a brand new thing in Europe here. I must say, I forgot the country. I don't remember now if it's Germany or Holland or Italy, but in some country in Europe, just a few hours ago, some guy that they expect is a Muslim just drove into a whole school class of kids. And some of them are dead already, and a lot of them are injured, and they say they won't survive. And then he continued and drove into a store. And later on, the cops took him, and they say this was deliberate. It's a terrorist act, and they think he's from some Muslim organization. But that is yet to be determined. It could be any crazy guy. But I'm pretty sure that will be on American news tonight as well.
Probably, if it fits their narrative.
Yeah, exactly.
So have you been following hockey at all?
Yeah, I've been following the Rangers. They lost 2 in a row, right? So it's 2-2
they
now
lost
against
last night. So it's 2-2. They're going back to the Garden. We miss our Henrik Lundqvist.
Yeah, Hank. Do you know that he has a twin brother that looks exactly like him?
No.
He plays in Västra Frölunda, which is a Gothenburg team.
What is Henry Lundqvist doing right now?
Well,
is he home in Sweden, or is he still in America?
No, I think he lives in New York, but he's probably home in Sweden over the summer. He has gotten plenty of TV. You know, they have asked him to participate in everything from sportscasts to cooking shows,
promotions.
Promotions and stuff.
He's making a fortune.
He will make a fortune about
Well, I mean, he was the best looking NHL hockey player. I can see why he's making a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Off the ice. Yeah. So just keep your fingers crossed with the Rangers, because you know what, the last time the Rangers played in a championship against Tampa Bay is when you and I were on that cruise ship.
Yeah.
Remember that?
2015.
Yeah, 2015, and Tampa Bay won.
Shit.
That was the last time the two played in the championship.
So this is the semis in the Eastern Conference, right?
Yes.
So
it's the finals in the Eastern Conference.
Is it the final?
Yeah, the winner of the Rangers, Tampa Bay, plays Colorado in the Stanley Cup.
Is Colorado already?
Yeah, they swept
it on the west side.
Yep, they swept it 4-0.
Wow. So when is the next Rangers game?
What's today? Wednesday, tomorrow night.
They played yesterday. It has to be tomorrow night.
Every 2 days.
Yeah. Okay, so let's finish this up, and
Yep.
I'll upload this episode now for everybody, and please subscribe and share it, and have everybody. If you know people in America or in England or any other country that could be interested in following our channel, so just share it with everybody and tell them to subscribe.
Yeah,
And push that
absolutely.
notification bell, and you know, the whole thing.
Click on the red button.
Exactly. Because every time you do, a piece of shit liberal cries.
Yeah, exactly.
Peace,
Exactly. We're gonna have a busy summer.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
But
guys.
we'll be back over the weekend, or otherwise next Tuesday.
Sounds good.
Ciao. Take care.
All right. Bye.